Oh my god, hi guys. Hi guys, it has been a hot minute. Today's March 28th. And I haven't hung out with Randy in like 2 weeks. It is the middle of quarantine, COVID-19. And we're just really trying to be careful. I've been working from home and Randy has gone into work a couple times, so we are actually quarantining from each other, which is terrible. I legit have like bags under my eyes and I'm literally not even sleeping. But we're just trying to be responsible and do the right thing. I do want to start this video by saying thank you to all of our medical professionals, including my sister, I will link her channel, for just going out and doing what you have to do, for all essential workers, for really being on the front lines of this thing and just trying to make this an easier process, and it's a really hard time. Okay, anyway, I haven't done my eyebrows in I don't even know how long. My mustache is in full throttle, so this is a very random, not random, but I guess like a random time to choose to film this video, but I've been dying to do it since we closed. It's been about 3 months since we closed at our condo. Linking that here as well. And one thing I really wanted to talk about was the process and everything that went into it, because buying a condo is different than buying a house, than buying a co-op, and I think a lot of people don't understand what that means. I actually just put like a Q&A thing on Instagram to see like if there were any questions in particular people wanted us to ask. I'm looking down at my phone. I do have like things in mind that I want to cover, so maybe, oh my gosh, my hair is dripping, so maybe I'll start with that and then we'll just jump right into it. So hold on, where are my questions? Okay, so I actually started this list before we even closed. I wrote it out in November, so I'm gonna go through this and then I'll answer the questions, and then I guess based on that we can film part 2 when I have my boo with me, and we can continue answering questions at that point. So one thing I wanted to start with is why we wanted to buy. And honestly, we had been together for about 2 years before we thought about buying something together. We knew we wanted to live together, but I think we've mentioned this, we lived at home with our families, and to be fully transparent, we lived at home rent-free. So for us to leave our comfortable situations to go and pay rent, it just didn't make sense for us. We knew we were gonna stay in New York. We knew, you know, we would work at least in New York City or Westchester, so it was never a thought about moving somewhere else. I think if that was something we were considering, then buying maybe would have made sense, but it was the perfect. Okay, oh, that's my water bottle. All right, so let's get back to it. Okay, so I already said why. I'm sorry, this is gonna drive me crazy. I already said why we wanted to purchase, and the bare minimum things that we wanted was 2 bedrooms. 2 bathrooms was gonna be a plus, but 2 bedrooms was like a non-negotiable, and we really wanted 1,000 square feet. And that was a little difficult, but honestly, we have a large family. We want to be the place for like goros and entertainment, and just where people want to come and hang out. So that's definitely something we had in mind. I think the very first place we ever saw was 800 square feet, and while it was beautiful, it was so tight. I mean, like, I'm really used to having my own space, so I needed like just space. I don't know how else to say it, and it just 800 square feet was not it, especially because that was 800 square feet in a 2-bedroom. I think if it was a 1-bedroom, it would have been totally fine, but that was like our minimum requirement: 2 bedrooms and 1,000 square feet. If you saw our home tour or empty house tour or whatever, you would have seen that we ended up with much bigger than we anticipated. We have 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, and it's like 1,400 square feet. Granted, we spent more than we thought we were gonna spend 2 years ago when we first started looking. And it's a duplex, so it's like 2 floors, and I think that kind of plays into the size of the place. So the next step is to assess your budget. Can you hold off and save longer? So initially we started looking, we thought we had a whole bunch of money, and then when we saw how much our monthly payments were gonna be, we're like, okay, no. So that was in 2018. We took a break and then started looking again in 2019, and I feel like that's probably around when we started talking about it with our friends and people became aware that we were looking to buy. So another thing is determine what you want to spend on a mortgage each month. Remember, there's taxes, interest, and bills that go on top of this, and I think that's so important. We honestly initially only thought about our down payment and didn't put much more thought into everything else, and I think that was, you know, that was a rookie move. Luckily, we ended up doing tons and tons of research, and by the time we closed, we were very well aware of what our monthly take-home pay was, what we wanted to spend, and all of that stuff. But I think that's so important. Work backwards. Figure out what's the total amount you can afford to spend a month on your mortgage, HOA, which is like a monthly maintenance fee for some properties if you're looking at a co-op or condo. What do you anticipate your light bill being, and your cable? Do you want cable? Maybe not. Okay, what about your phone bill and the gym? Factor all of that in. I had mentioned this in a previous video, but we use an expense tracker and like a budget sheet, and that was very, very helpful in assessing what were we taking home and what could we afford to pay. So the next step, finally, after you figure out your numbers, is getting the pre-approval from your bank. I don't think we've ever mentioned this, but you have a 14-day window to have hard inquiries, meaning get pre-approvals from different lenders. Go to Chase, TD, Citi, whatever bank you want. You want to do Rocket Mortgage, Quicken Loans, Loan Depot. We ended up going with Loan Depot, but look at all of those lenders. You have 14 days. So we had about like 8 hard inquiries, but it only counts as 1 hard inquiry if you do it in that 14-day window. If that doesn't make any sense, just comment down below and I can explain a bit more, but that's like a little tidbit, pro tip. Look at homes within your budget. So your bank is going to say, hey, you qualify for, I don't know, like $300,000 as a mortgage, and you're like, oh, what? That doesn't make any sense. So something we did was ask for a cost sheet from our once we were getting the pre-approval. So can you tell us, if we buy a property that's $300,000, what are we looking at as a monthly mortgage payment? Now that's not going to be 100% accurate because the interest rate can fluctuate if you don't, you know, lock it in at that time, but it still gives you an idea. So maybe your budget is really 150 and they're telling you can afford 300. Yeah, maybe you can afford it, but it's not, again, taking into account all of these other bills. I'm getting so winded. I'm very excited to talk about this. So place an offer. That's the next step. So you look at the properties. We had a realtor, but we were also sending the realtor places. So we were just looking on like Zillow and Trulia and saying, hey, we really love this place. Can we see it? And I think, oh yeah, the place we got, we actually sent to the realtor. It wasn't something that they found for us. We found it. Okay. And a lot of the places that we saw were things we had picked. I think maybe like 2 or 3 they had shown us and thought we'd like it, but we were not in a rush and we were willing to take our time. So if it wasn't perfect, we didn't really want to see it, but we did see quite a couple, maybe like 20 places in total. So the next step, so you place an offer, and then I'm going to read off of here because I don't think these need like as in-depth of breakdown. So place an offer, gather your finances. You need your W-2 for the last 2 years, proof of funds. Like, can you know, go to the bank and you're going to ask for a proof of funds, and they print out a document that states what is it that you have as far as liquid assets go. Verification of employment, you can get that from HR, or some of the things that the sellers may ask for. You get an attorney to represent you. We had someone very, very, very close to us refer us to our attorney. He was awesome, thorough. I mean, we read our contract front to back, line by line with our attorney to make sure that we knew what it was that we were getting into. And I think every attorney should be that way. do your inspection before signing the contract. That is our suggestion. I don't think it matters if you are purchasing a house, a condo, or a co-op. Do not sign that contract without having an inspection done, because once you sign the contract, you're pretty much locked in. And even if the inspector finds something that's like not to code, or there's like a rodent infestation or something, that's on you. So yeah, definitely do your inspection. Ours was $450. It was expensive, but it would have been a lot harder to get out of a contract, and trust me, it costs a lot more than $450 to do that. So once you receive the contract back with the seller's signature, you send it to your mortgage lender. So again, ours was Loan Depot, and that's based on who you decided to go with after the pre-approval. You notify your mortgage lender that you have the fully executed contract, basically saying the contract is signed by you, the buyer, and the seller. That's a fully executed contract, and your lender will start the paperwork. And that process is like, oh my gosh, it goes so fast. Well, at least in our case, like once we had the contract, our mortgage lender was on it. They were awesome. Again, very, very good at breaking things down and explaining it to us. I felt like they dumbed some things down for us, but we needed that because this was our first time doing it. I wanted any sort of breakdown that we can get. As your lender is working through underwriting, basically making sure that the bank is going to approve you, and the appraisal, so the bank has to verify that the property is worth the amount of money that you're saying you're going to pay for the property. Begin your homeowner insurance search, get quotes from different companies until you find the policy that works for you. Understand what is covered versus what is not. I think what you guys are understanding here is a lot of research needs to happen on your end. Please do not, you know, rely on someone to give you all the answers. I hope our video is helpful. I'm flying through the process. It's lengthy for some, but if you have any questions, we can chat one-on-one. We'd love to give you more information. But yeah, we ended up going with Lemonade for our home insurance. We really like them. We looked at quite a few through my job. We could have had in MetLife home insurance. It cost a lot more, and it just didn't really make sense. We looked at a couple. I think we looked at Geico, State Farm, quite a few, and then Lemonade was just like the best, and we really liked it. It was easy, and we actually paid home insurance for the entire year before you're like, oh, it wasn't that much. Homeowner insurance is not that crazy, and we actually like added on a couple things to make sure we were fully covered. Okay, and the next thing is lock in your mortgage interest rate. So you would then tell the mortgage lender, we're ready to do this, I want to lock in the rate. We asked for a 60-day lock-in. Now, I don't want to make this too confusing, but I would advise a 60-day lock-in because sometimes, you know, there may be an agreed upon closing date on your contract and things happen and you don't close on that date. And if you don't close before your lock-in date on the interest rate, you may have to pay to like extend the interest rate. Again, I hope that's not too confusing, but basically what I'm saying is a 60-day lock-in gives you some wiggle room just in case you don't close on the date you thought you were. So that's all I had like written down as far as like tips and tricks and suggestions. After all that happens, for us, we had to have an interview with our board, or with management, sorry, for the condo. Our mortgage lender had our paperwork, everything ready to go like this. I swear within a week we were ready to close, and our management company took about 6 weeks to get us an interview date. So we were going to close beginning of December. We were originally going to close beginning of December. Realistically, we could have closed well before Thanksgiving because we were ready by then, and didn't end up closing until December 31st, or December 30th, sorry. So that was just so frustrating. We were like, I wanted to cry. I was on edge. I wasn't sleeping. I was irritated. It was just a frustrating experience. Anyway, okay, I'm going on the gram to see if we got any questions coming in from people. Someone's admiring my nails. Thanks, girl. I will put some info on that, I guess, in the... I'll respond to your DM. Okay, so we didn't get any extra questions, so I'm just gonna answer what's here. So I don't know how much we shared in our last video, but we ended up deciding to do some renovations to our place. Lots of renovations and not DIY, and that was actually one of the questions we got. Which renovations will be for hire versus DIY? As of right now, nothing is DIY. Not a thing. Zero. Nada. Everything is, it's being done. It's construction. The only DIY I think we'll end up doing in the summer is just doing a little bit of landscaping in our backyard, which is literally a square itty bitty patio. We can fit like a grill, maybe a little couch and a table, and that's really it. So we're gonna do some temporary stuff, but our 2021 plan is to actually get a new little fence. Guys, we live in a complex, so I don't want anyone to think we have a legit backyard. It's a patio. But we're going to do some temporary stuff this summer, so that's probably the only DIY right now. I think once the bigger things are done, then we can do some DIY. But yeah, a couple things that we're doing. We had mentioned this, we're moving a door in one of our bathrooms. We were doing some electrical work, like fixing our lights, getting additional lighting because there was very limited lighting there. The bedrooms didn't even have a ceiling light. We're doing the bathrooms. So right now there's no DIY, unfortunately. So our plan was to move in this week. Tomorrow we were gonna actually start moving in, and a couple things happened. Construction, someone had told me construction is like open heart surgery, and that is so true. So we currently have to just wait, and right now during COVID we've completely come to a halt, and I think that's another question. So how's it affecting us? Like I said, we were supposed to move in this week. Realistically, I think maybe we're gonna move in June, which is so frustrating because that would be 6 months more or less from closing that we end up moving in. Our place is truly going to be perfect for us, so I know it's worth it, but it's difficult. The biggest thing is our contractors really want to take precaution and take care of themselves, and the work has just slowed down. We did a lot of the heavy duty stuff. Right now it's more of like cosmetic things, but still, I don't want to get too excited and say, oh, we're moving at the end of April. I doubt it. I think realistically June is probably when it would be. So that answers our move-in. That was another question. When's your move-in date? I don't know. It's definitely not tomorrow. And at this rate, we don't know when things will change from COVID. So I don't know. We really have no idea. We do not want a housewarming. I think we want to have like a get together kind of thing and like have our friends over and then have a separate thing for our families, but it wouldn't be a housewarming. We have so much stuff that I know usually housewarmings are like where you'll get like really nice gifts, like a blender, a Vitamix, air purifiers, I don't know, vacuum cleaners, whatever it is that you get. So I don't know that we'll have like an actual housewarming. I'm hoping that, you know, when we move in, it's around some kind of holiday or somebody's birthday. Maybe we'll just like host the gathering, but a straight up housewarming, I don't know. We didn't really talk about it, but I don't think so. I'm not sure. Okay. So the last question is around, it says, how was the application process being an unmarried couple? I don't think that honestly made any sort of a difference. That the fact that we were unmarried. Randy and I are super transparent with our expenses, with our money. So yeah, everything was pretty much split right down the middle. Yeah, we weren't charged more for being unmarried or anything like that, but it didn't like hinder anything at all. So yeah, nothing at all. A couple of other questions we got was like, how did we know that our place was like the one? Honestly, it's super close to my parents. It's close to work, it's close to the highway, it is just like an easy area. It's near a really cute farmers market. We like it. I'm exploring the area all the time. There's a basketball court, there's a trail. It's perfect. We love the area. I actually think we might stay in the area long term. I don't know about our condo. This is really more of an investment property for us, but I don't know, we're just really thankful that we're able to do this and that we have jobs during this crazy time. But that's really it for now. If anyone has any other questions, please let us know. And thank you guys for your constant support, and I'm so glad I finally got to sit down and film this because I've been dying to do it. So thank you.